Hello! Welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong, where we are earned an audience with Ya. I knew it would come down to this because that was what we led it up. Hmm. Go, go on then, I'm listening. Our terms are simple. We want you to leave. Leave the chattel here to their fates, forget about them, acknowledge that they are ours, and then think on them no more. Leave the walled city and do not return, except that it is our domain now and forevermore. In exchange we will give you 14 years of good fortune, your every wish fulfilled, your every desire granted. A charmed life from the moment you leave to the day that our deal elapses. You can do this. With a wave of our hand. We have swum the waters of fortune since the beginning of time. It is a trivial matter for us to divert them. So will you accept our offer? Will you take the deal? Not yet. I have questions for you first. She inclines her head. You may ask, but do not try our patience. To trifle us would be a terrible mistake. Hmm. I've done some research on your kind. There are other Yama Kings, aren't there? Thousands, each unique in all the multiverse, each an inimitable form of life. You are one of many meet, interchangeable with others of your kind. We and our brethren are solitary sovereign beings, demigods among beasts of the field. What do you intend to do with the people of the walled city you take over here? You can't be planning to enslave them all. With what any queen would do, we intend to rule them. Some will be pressed into service within our court, others will be livestock. Most will live out their lives as if nothing had changed. So you're going to keep this place as hellish as it is right now. Good to know. The walled city will always be a hell of some form or another. The butt builder's tunnel machine saw to that. This site is cursed, now and for all time. Our rule cannot change the unchangeable. I'd like to know more about the spirits that serve you. Our servitors are not spirits meet, not in the way you think. They are cells of our body, particles of our own divine being, manifested in flesh to serve us. So you're saying that you and your servants are all parts of the same thing. There is no I, there are no servants, we are all that there is. If you're as powerful as you say you are, why are you offering me this deal? Because we want to see what you will do. The ultimate reward dangles above your head. You can pluck it like a peach if you wish. We are curious to see if you will. I don't think that's it at all. I think that I hurt you the last time we fought, and you're stalling while you regain your strength. That might be true. Do you wish to test your theory, Neat? Or will you accept our generous offer and enjoy every luxury of life over a decade to come? Make your choice and make it now. No, I have a counter-proposal for you. Duncan's brow furrows. He looks surprised and uneasy. His grip tightens on his rifle. Ya leans in towards you, her face folding open to a hideous smile. A counter-proposal, you say? How amusing. Out with it then, Mead. Tell us what you would have of us. You're going to return to the place that you came from, and you're going to close the door behind you. She cackles a long, malicious laugh. And tell us, slave thing, why would we do such a thing? What do you have to offer? Hmm. Your life. I know how to tear open the tunnel. You don't want to do this. You have to follow through on the deal. Once a deal is made, you have to follow through on the deal. You need to catch them and lie. Don't lie yourself. Well, I won't kill you for one. That sound like a fair enough deal? Your life. I know how to tear open the tunnel that connects our two worlds. There is a long pause. A low growl emanates from Yama King's throat. You would destroy yourself, Meat. Condemn every living soul in the city to torment unending. Gobbet raises an eyebrow. Seattle? The queen with thousand teeth tilts her eyeless head, glowering at you. Her voice goes low and dangerous. Your ultimatum is meaningless, Meat. Opening the tunnel would not destroy us. It wouldn't even hurt us. You will take our offer or you will die. There is no other choice. I know that opening the tunnel wouldn't hurt you, Queen, but I also know that it would let the other Yama Kings through. Yama King doesn't respond, not audibly, but that miasma that fills the air seems to thicken. It grabs you by the guts and twists. Duncan winces. It got him too. It's got him too. His eyes flash daggers at you. Why the hell would you want to do that? She isn't lying. We we can't kill her, but I'm betting the other Yama Kings can. Because she's keeping them out. She wants the walled city for herself. And we will have it! This place is ours. Leave now or be destroyed. If it were that easy, you'd have done it already. Kianya stands statue still, looming over you like a colossus. Saliva drools down from the ridges and folds of her body, the waves of palpable hate rolling off of her, almost palpable. I've heard what you Yama Kings do to one another when you're angry. The story of the nameless king. I'm betting that there's some truth to it. Good thing I asked about that. A low rumbling sound emanates from Kianya's chest. Her melodious voice goes sour. You would be condemning yourself to an eternity of torment. My brethren would not permit you to leave this place alive. You're going to destroy me anyway, right? So what do I have to lose? She's right. From our perspective, there isn't much difference between one demon god ruling the walled city and 100. The place is doomed either way. So I've made a decision. If she doesn't go through with this, I will. You need to go back where you came from, or I'll open the choke on the machine and you can die with us. There's a long pause. Kianya cocks her head, coldly evaluating you. A low rumble escapes from her throat. And what of our court, the slave things that have already been taken into our service? We must be allowed to keep them if we are to retreat to the tunnel. They must come as well. You are entitled to nothing by asking. You've already conceded defeat. I know your laws, Queen, and I will hold you to them. A low rumbling fills the chamber, and Kianya's hideous face contorts into a mask of rage, but she seems incapable of moving to harm you. The servitor creatures that surround her kneel in acquiescence. They look confused and frightened. How do you know? The music in her voice has gone flat. You watch the muscles of her throat bulge, but the sound barely escapes her. I just guessed I'm clever that way. You'll spend the rest of eternity wondering. Journals of a woman who studied your kind. You drove her mad in the end. I don't want to give too much information. You'll spend the rest of eternity wondering. Slowly, gratingly, the Queen of 1,000 Teeth bows her head, her jaws clenched, and her breath comes in ragged gasps. We shall go back to the tunnel as agreed. We will leave the slave things behind. We are bound to obey. Holy shit, Gilleen, it worked. This is why you do all the conversations. All of them. Every conversation you can. You never know where one will show up, where one will trigger something. If we hadn't talked to Isabel about the Nameless King, if we hadn't talked to all the stuff with Crafty, we probably wouldn't be in up shit creek right now. Moving against her will, Kianya traces an ornate sigil into the air. It hangs there for a moment, shimmering. Then the sky tears open.
Remember the day I took you and Duncan off the streets? I told you that the past is just a story. That if you can just accept that, your past loses all power over you. But we do what we need to do, to live with it, to live with ourselves. Either way, it's over now. I have you to thank for that.
They don't show your character because customization. Question, am I right? Are you not the final boss? You lead Raymond out of the Prosperity Chamber and are instantly caught up in a wave of refugees fleeing for their lives. Struggling through the panicked wave of humanity, you are able to retrace your steps and eventually reach Hayoi. Although the typhoon has passed, the scene is wet and chaotic. The newly homeless crowd the streets, dazedly wandering, searching for missing loved ones and nursing injuries. Relief workers are already on the scene, providing blankets and medical aid. Rescue personnel carry the stunned and wounded to safety. The entire area has been cordoned off by the HKPF, while knight-errant officers and a military peacekeeping force attempt to maintain order. I kind of guessed this is another thing you need to do is do the take a rest. And it's all optional on the take a rest. If we hadn't done it all, I might not have had the conversation clues to know that she had locked out all the Yama Kings. I might not have even had the conversation options. Do everything on these kind of games. Has been cordoned off by HKPF while knight-errant officers and a military peacekeeping force attempt to maintain order. I was kind of curious about doing Unclever that way, but I just wanted to say you'll spend eternity wondering. I like that ending. Likely she'll figure it out eventually, or it will figure it out eventually. You emerge from Kowloon walled city to bustling clusters of activity. Refugees huddling together, staring back at their lost homes. Government troops deploying from armored personnel carriers, news vans setting up remote camera feeds, while reporters scramble to find the right angle for their broadcast. The air is electric, with the threat of potential violence as panicked peacekeepers eye the growing crowd of evacuating poor. Gobbet's eyes dart furtively as she turtles her head between her shoulders. This place is hot. The cops are swarming the place, and that APP is still out on us. Just head to the boat, sneaky like. It's quite a party. Just take it easy, try and blend into the crowd. I want to have a look around. It's quite a party. Looks like the press joined the party. Isabel lifts her nose towards a reporter interviewing someone from inside the walled city. Already they have their hooks in someone hoping for a soundbite. The reporter wears a look of earnest concern like a coat of cheap deodorant. And is that when you started running? Yeah, it was bad in there, shooting, screaming. I was terrified. And what caused this, sir? Why are people flooding out of the walled city, injured and disoriented? The man stares at the scene around him, bewildered. It's like everyone is saying some sort of chemical leak. A drug lab exploded or something. Caused mass hallucinations. Cover story. Like they're saying Chicago is Vetus. The reporter turns to the camera and pretends to check his notes. There you have it, Sonny. Our third report of mass hallucinations and violence caused by an explosion of an illegal drug lab. And while reports remain sketchy, it appears that street crime is again on the rise. He half turns and sweeps his arm over the scene. As you can see, it's still turmoil and confusion here as police and executive council peacekeepers respond to the emergency situation, attempting to maintain order. But all this chaos in the maze of poverty that is Kowloon walled city, we may never know what really happened in there. Back to you in the studio, Sonny. The light on the news camera goes off and the reporter drops the facade. He ignores the bedraggled man beside him and begins picking up his equipment. After a moment, he sees you looking at him and turns to you with a scowl. What are you looking at? You know that guy was regurgitating a line of corporate bullshit, don't you? Mass hallucinations. Do you believe that story? No, I don't believe that story. He laughs sardonically and continues packing. Am I wearing a t-shirt that says, I'm a fool, feed me your line of corporate bullshit? No. But in my experience, the rest of the world is. Everything you see, everything you've been taught, every official you elect, all bought and paid for by the people pulling the strings. Doesn't that sound familiar? Yeah, well, no one's telling me what to think. No eye contact. He remains bent over his equipment case. Of course not, pal. You're different. The reporter finishes packing and stands up straight, brushing the wet grit of the wet grit of the street off his hands. As he does so, his eyes narrow. His gaze moves over your crew, flicking from face to face before eventually landing on you. Looks like you just came from inside. So tell me, what did you really see in there? Demon goddess named King Yashi says hi, by the way. The results of corporate greed on the little people. A machine that creates luck, the bad kind. A mess that Josephine Sang never cleaned up. He chuckles. Why am I not surprised? No one even remembers that she built this hole in the first place. Not that it would matter. Joe Sang holds this town by the balls. Wouldn't surprise me if she was running some kind of test in the walled city. It's like their little petri dish. Wouldn't surprise me if the whole thing blew up in her face because of the low safety standards either. They test food additives, body modifications, pharmaceuticals, whatever some junior executive can dream up. Nothing surprises me anymore. What about the truth? The truth isn't my business, and ad revenue is my business. Do you have any idea how much competition there is for eyeballs these days? News is nothing more than content. Just like the new Mamie Canyon Fresh BTL Urban Brawl podcast or Maria Mercurial Simpson's experience. Everyone on this island knows that my news service is just a mouthpiece for the Executive Council. Hell, if you look closely enough, you'll find that it's owned by a member of the Executive Council. People buy what we feed them because the world is changing and it's scary. They feel small, they need scapegoats to blame, and authority figures to tell them what to think. My news network gives them that. He points at the TRID screen mounted on the side of his news van. And there's a prime example of an authority figure, Joe Sang, rising star on the Executive Council. Just look at her spinning this to her own ends. Talking about the humanitarian relief effort she's mounting, you know. Your comm chirps as kindly Chang. Go ahead and take your comm. I'm going to go before this scene turns into some kind of riot. It usually does. Hello, Auntie. Don't hello, Auntie me. I lost contact with the soldiers I sent into the walled city with you. And now Sang assholes and government troops are all over the place. Get over here and tell me what happened. Right away, Auntie. No response. The line is already dead. I want to sleep for about a year. Isabel tugs at your arm, her eyelids at half-mast. I'm taking Raymond to the bolt hole killing. I think he could use some sack time too. We'll see you there. You better go talk to Auntie Seattle. Watch Tridio. The Tridio monitor displays a live feed from the network's newsroom. It's a standard split screen, talking heads back and forth between a perky newscaster and a stately woman of indeterminate old age. The animated label under the old woman reads, Executive Council Member Josephine Sang. And if you're joining us, we are talking live with Councilwoman Sang from her office in... If it's Tridio, that's 3D. It would be a platform with a hologram over it. Oh, good grief. And if you're just joining us, we're talking live with Councilwoman Sang from her office in Prosperity Tower. Councilwoman, again, thank you for being here to help us make sense out of the conflicting reports that we're getting out of Kowloon Walled City. The elder woman nods with queenly composure. Thank you, Sonny. I only wish that we were speaking in happier times. Of course, madam, that is indeed a stressful day for the citizens of the Walled City, but who knows? Stressful? The newscaster brightens, flashing the best smile money can buy. For one of them, it might be their lucky day. Stay tuned, because we're going to cut away shortly to this week's Gigaball drawing, where some lucky winner could walk away with almost 1 trillion new yen. The newscaster returns her focus to her guest, a look of practiced concern back on her face. Most lottery winners end up falling in worse situations than they started in, because most lottery winners do not have the ability to handle that much money. They aren't. It's not a inborn ability, it's an education thing. Because rich people don't want you to... Anyway, I'm going to stop with that stuff. Now, madam, you were saying that this sort of situation is inevitable when masses of underprivileged children are raised in a world without hope. Exactly, Sonny. Josephine Sang leans forward towards the camera. Without hope, these children are left to create their own opportunities the only way they know how, by turning to crime. Or if, I splat their faces all over the news and make them terrorists. That happens too. They are often brought up in single-parent households without strong guidance to put them on the right path. They are surrounded by thugs and criminals eager to put them to work in all manner of unsavory activities. And it's events such as this one that calls our attention to the plight of these poor children. That is why, today, I call on my Executive Council colleagues to join with me in supporting our new project, Operation Hope. Under the auspices of this program, we will pull these children out of poverty and place them in loving, stable homes, while their parents are rehabilitated, re-educated, and reinvigorated with a new sense of purpose. That sounds like a tremendous, it is, Sunny. It will cost billions of new yen to support such a mammoth effort, but Sang Mechanical Services is ready to lead the way. Through our new charitable foundation, Sang for Hope, it's time for us to give back to the community. And newscaster puts her finger to her ear. Madam Councilwoman, I'm afraid I need to cut you off there. As always, you are doing amazing work for the people of Hong Kong, but it's time for Gigaball, of course. Again, thank you so much for joining us and offering your perspective. We have been speaking with Josephine Sang, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and frontrunner to be the next chair of the executive committee. Right. There's other inspect. Basic emergency response supplies, low-end variety used in impoverished areas. I'm going to check in with everybody before I talk to kindly Chang because Freddy Coffey greets all comers in the front entrance of Club 88 and performs his duty with renewed vigor, much to the dismay of anyone looking to enter with all their dental fillings intact. Well, back again. Good to see you too. I got to thank you for what you said before. I think you saved me from a big mistake. Huge mistake. Talked things through with my boss. He leveled with me about his past. Yeah, he had his secrets, but they weren't the kind of secrets I thought they were. No glorious pirate career. In fact, he told me some things about the crew I was looking to join. Shit that would make you turn white. Doesn't matter now. My ba and me are good. We've come to understand each other. Get this, we're going to build a boat together. He's going to teach me everything he knows. And when we're done, we're going to take that boat out together. Just two sailors out on the water. If I still want to go to sea, he's going to help me study for an able-bodied seaman's certificate. If I get it, he's going to reach out to some of his old mates who are still on boats. I'd start as a deckhand, but the more I think about it, I'd rather earn my way up by pulling a hawser than pull a trigger that's just handed to me. Hell, those tugs are armed for a reason. Maybe one day I'll even make the Hell Thunder crew wish I was on their deck. It's going to be good, and it's because I listened to you. Glad I could help. Okay, Callum. Callum remains in his usual spot, but is not the usual Callum. His eyes are clear, and there isn't a whiff of alcohol in his breath. The only spirits apparently raised are his own. You're alive! I'm going to let the conversation run for a little bit. Some were saying you weren't coming back. Came close. Look, I need to apologize. You were right. I'm not sure what had come over all of us. I wasn't thinking straight. A long talk with my boss. She told me the truth about what happens at Baihu. It's horrifying. Can't even believe it's possible. Callum nods gravely to himself. My ma isn't perfect, but I guess she's really willing to live by her principles. I can respect that. I've cut off all ties with Mr. Tai. I don't know what he had planned for me, whether he was going to kill me or make me his heir. It doesn't matter. You've got to stand for what's right in this world, or you've got nothing. That's what Kafais do. I think Ma and I understand one another better now. It's made us stronger, and I owe that to you. If we hadn't talked things through, I would have run off blindly to join that man. No matter the outcome for me, it would have killed my Ma. But she also knows I've got the same ambition she had. I've got the same fire. I can't spend my life in a bar. I've got to do something. So thank you. Thank you for that and everything else you've done for Aoi. Time to turn this... Okay, you're very welcome, Colin. Henry? Henry appears relaxed in his usual spot, set back from the action of the club, the dark cloud hanging over him, and all of Aoi has dissipated. He looks like a very different man entirely, even smiles. It's good to see you again, friend. It's good to see you too, Henry. Glad you're still here. I'm glad we all are. It seemed for a time that something was working to pull us apart, my family included. I hardly realized it was happening, but I wasn't the only one tempted to chase some foolish notion. Both of my boys were also struggling. When I think how close we came to leaving our mine here alone, it breaks my heart. But we have you to thank for keeping us together. I can't thank you enough. You've done my family a great service. Happy for you, Henry. I know you travel difficult roads in your line of work, but whenever those roads lead you back here, I hope you can call on us. Will do. I'm curious about something. I have 1 karma. Don't get any karma for tricking a demon goddess into leaving the area, do you? The darkness infecting people of Hayoi has finally cleared, and spirits are again bright. Nowhere is that more evident than with Ermine Cafe. It is good to see you alive and well, Noel. Do we have you to thank for our good fortune? Not going to lie. I shut the door in Hell's face. I'm sure we'll never know what you did inside the walled city, but I do know you did what you did for this family. When the world was trying to tear this family apart, you helped us hold strong. I have my Henry, happier than I've seen him in years, and I have my sweet boys. You're the keystone of this family. How's Henry? Henry and I have always had our rough patches. His heart will always belong to the sea. I think it is slowly breaking every year I kept him on land. Now we found a way for him to follow that passion without leaving us all behind. He's going to build a boat with Freddy and teach him everything he knows. But I made a promise to also take Callum and me out with them once they are ready. So I think he's going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. How's Callum? We had a very difficult talk, Callum and I. Difficult for both of us, but I owed him the truth. He's promised to keep it our secret. He doesn't want to see me hurt any more than I've already been. Now that I'm no longer hiding anything from him, I think we can be close again, like when he was younger. We're also discussing how he can pursue university while still helping out here at the club. How's Freddy? Freddy is, and always will be, my special little man. He was struggling with issues of his own, but he seems better now, thanks to you. He and Henry have talked more in the past few days than I've seen them talk in the past few years. It's been good for Freddy. He's no longer holding on to the fantasies that had been driving him. He's even taking his job here at the club more seriously. I can't think of any way to say it. My little boy is finally growing up, all 8 feet of him. How are you? I couldn't be better. With everyone safe and sound here with me, you have my undying gratitude. Thank you, Noel. Take care of yourself, Yama. Okay. Group 1, successful. Okay. Let's go check out Ambrose's place. In all likelihood, this stuff would still be here after I spoke to Kindly Chang, but I don't want to risk it. All the refugees are still here. Ambrose looks exhausted. He slouches like a sack of rice in his chair, gray bags under his eyes. Oh, my timer went off. So yeah, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to go to a new video because this has probably gone up close to 30 minutes. See you in a bit.